Trey McBride inking a 4-year, $76 million contract extension with the Arizona Cardinals maybe sets the stage for the Niners to once again probably give too much money to an older player, and everyone's talking about the stage being set for a George Kittle extension. We'll go over the tight end rankings for 2025 where George Kittle will rank high, but from a dynasty perspective, from a Niners giving Kittle an extension, it doesn't make any sense. They're cleaning house, they're getting younger. It's wild to me what the Niners are trying to do this offseason. They're a mess over in San Francisco. But McBride getting his bag, 4-year, $76 million deal. Not saying the Cardinals have everything figured out either. This guy barely got any touchdown grabs last year. But does he become the number one tight end in fantasy football 2025 as he looks to rectify, to remedy the touchdown situation going on in Arizona, the discrepancy between yardage and dominance from all other categories in relation to the tight end production, the touchdown production for the tight end. We're going to break it all down and more. Trey McBride, a few other pieces of news. Jahmyr Gibbs changing his number. You know, it's kind of fun unless you own the jerseys and you have to get a new jersey now. Some of these number changing situations are pretty strange and they leave people hanging. But it's exciting to see players in different numbers, but we'll go over that in a minute. We got some more news. The Fantasy Football Show, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Drop those Trey McBride emojis right now. That show begins right now. We're live every Monday through Friday. What other show can you count on? I already went live today. As soon as the news broke on the trade for Milton, I went live immediately. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, rain or shine. What other show's here for you? The answer is none. This is the only place you need to be. Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and whenever news breaks, you know you can count on me. That show begins right now. File on in, drop them Trey McBride emojis, and do it live. On that note, we got it's the longest intro ever. Let's start off with this.
Streams.
There are 2 5s?
They're gonna cross streams.
He worked effortlessly trying to accomplish this feat on his own. Then, one day, he crossed his 4th and 5th round average draft position. And then, this occurred. Get McBride.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Live whenever news breaks. And this man, Trey McBride, signed a 4-year, $76 million extension with the Arizona Cardinals. A team, again, I don't think has anything figured out. I'm not trying to pretend to be some guy that's biased toward his hometown team. I'm not. The Cardinals don't know how to deliver the football to this guy at every single angle. And I think they probably remedy that situation in 2025, at least to a degree. So if we pull up Trey McBride's stats from 2024 and we plop those suckers on screen, it's impressive. It's just you see this touchdown number and you say to yourself, ladies and gentlemen, is this man inches away from becoming by far and away the best tight end in football? I know Bowers is right there, but Kyler, I like Kyler more than Geno. I do. You know, I don't love Kyler from a consistency standpoint, but Kyler loves this man. 111 receptions, 4th in the league. 1146, 2 TDs, tied for 116th place in the entire NFL for receiving touchdowns. 2 of them. What's going on here? I mean, I don't think this is going to be the norm, though. This is a touchdown man. This is a guy that has a nose for the end zone, knows how to go up and get any contested ball. This was an Arizona Cardinal problem, which you could say might repeat itself. You could say it might repeat itself. But I'm here to say, you know, we look at Trey McBride's, or I'm sorry, Brock Bowers is. Let's pull up Brock Bowers, his ESPN. Let me pull up his stats here. Let me screenshot this. It's a very similar number, except for he got a few more touchdowns, but he's also getting a new quarterback, new system, like essentially. So this is just to not confuse anybody. This is going to be Brock Bowers, 111 receptions, 112, 1146, 1195, 2 and 5, 10.3, 10.7. They're both very, very close. And the thing that you have to bank on for next year is system and quarterback. And while I don't love Kyler Murray, I've made that abundantly clear here in Arizona. Kind of feel like I trust Kyler in the Cardinals a little more than I trust Geno Smith, who just got his extension as well today. I don't even know if I clipped that. It's such a mundane situation over there. I did clip it. It's right here. Here's the Geno Smith contract extension, which it's wild to me. You know, what people think this guy's capable of being. Geno Smith extension has a base value of $37.5 million per year with the potential to earn more through incentives. The belief is he wanted over $40 million per year from the Seahawks, and when that didn't happen, they traded him. They agreed to a 2-year, $85 million deal. That's the extension, $66.5 million guaranteed. You know what concerns me most about this contract? Like, if he didn't get the contract extension, I might feel a little bit, I don't know if I feel better about the situation, but they're pot committed to him now, no matter how mediocre he could be. And I see a lot of people saying top 5, top 7 quarterback season incoming. I think those are just, you know, Raider fans. I don't know that I love this situation for Brock Bowers and I'm not saying it's bad. I think Brock Bowers is still the clear number 1 or number 2. But I think I'm going to lean toward McBride being the tight end 1 2025. I can't stomach the Geno Smith factor. I just can't. Not to a degree I can. Brock Bowers is that good. Dare I say Brock Bowers has maybe the same stats. So his touchdown production maybe goes up a little bit. I'm not trying to predict anything like some sort of negative vibe on Brock Bowers. Absolutely not. I love Brock Bowers. I've been drafting Brock Bowers in round 2, mid round 2 to late round 2 a lot lately. But I'm starting to tell myself, and the only reason I don't draft a lot of Trey McBride is because he goes in round 3 and I see Kyron and Bucky and Breece Hall and JD5 and Josh Allen. But I think I'm going to start tonight on Underdog when we draft tonight. Underdog promo code Smitty. If you guys aren't signed up on Underdog right now, you won't get into tonight's draft. So just click this link. It takes literally 2 or 3 minutes. It's $10 minimum. Okay? Just hit that link. Do it live. Smash the damn button and get signed up and ready for tonight. Dare I say tonight, we're going to try a little McBride sesh. We're going to try a little McBride session. We're going to try and take him in 3. And see if we can make that work and see how much we like the McBride round 3 more than the Bowers in round 2. So we'll swing on over to the rankings in 1 second, but I can go ahead and confirm right now without spoiling the rest of this show because you're here anyway. You're not leaving. This is your favorite place to be. That's why you're here. We're dropping it early. Here it is. Before we get to it, we're going to go with the McBride. The McBrideinator, sitting there right at the 1 spot. Call it bold, call it crazy, call it whatever you want. There's nothing insane about this. McBride's going 1. And of course, no one's saying Bowers is going to have a bad year at all. McBride's got better hair anyway. So we're going to throw McBride 1. We're going to put Brock Bowers in the 2 spot. Do it live. 1, 2. Come back for the 3, 4, 5, 6 part of the show. Don't you worry. So McBride news in the bag. Love it. Cardinals needed to do it. It sets the stage for George Kittle. And you got to ask yourself, are the Niners this ridiculous? And I'm not a Niner hater. I know I come off as one in the offseason. During the in-season, I'm not. I'm very much I promote the hell out of Niner players all the time. You know, Mason, Garendo, Debo. We've been a big supporter of the Niner player pool. Absolutely. So if you think I'm some Niner hater, I'm not. I'm a Shanahan and John Lynch pessimist, if you will. And the things they do in the offseason are head-scratching. You take away your entire roster, you lose all these big name talents, and the Niner fans are acting like they're not big losses anymore. At first, they're like, "What are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we getting rid of everybody?" And then now they replenished their motivations, and now the Niner fans are everywhere going, "They're not a big deal. Forget them. We'll be fine." You're not going to be fine. You just paid Christian McCaffrey money you shouldn't have paid him last year. You shouldn't have paid Christian McCaffrey a new bag. You shouldn't have done it. He was on his last year, if you were lucky, and look what happened. And now you're paying Christian McCaffrey not top money anymore because Barkley's got it, but top running back money, and he's not even the same player. You paid Ayuk $30 million a year. What a waste of money that was. You're about to pay Brock Purdy 50 to 55, maybe even $60 million a year, and you're going to give old man Kittle an extension? What is wrong with this situation? This does not mean that Kittle won't be amazing this year, but it doesn't mean the Niners are spending good money if they extend this man for the future. So if we swing back on over to the rankings, I'm going to put Kittle four. What, Smitty? What are you doing? Smitty, how can you do that to me? But 4 is still very respectable. And as much as I'm saying the negative stuff here right now for the Niners in 2026 and beyond, extending Kittle's a huge mistake for this club. That he's going to fall apart. He plays like Gronkowski. He plays like Gronkowski meets Pacheco and they had a baby. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a second, but there's a lot of rumors about an extension coming for Kittle, and that money set the stage. The Niners are about to blow some more money. They're trying to cut back and spend good, and now they're going to go ahead and do this. For the contract details of McBride, $76 million over 4 years. So Kittle, I don't know what Kittle's numbers will look like. I don't think it could be a 3-year. Kittle, very similar money on a three-year or something like that. 30-something guaranteed for Kittle. Maybe 25 guaranteed for Kittle, maybe 22, who knows? 32.5 million fully guaranteed, 43 million guaranteed, and 19 million in new money average per year. So I don't know what's going on back there over in San Francisco. Their off-season personnel management contract situations are always a mess in San Francisco. Top paid tight ends in the league: Trey McBride, 19 million. Travis Kelce, 17 million. TJ Hawkinson, 16.5. George Kittle, 15 million. He's already getting 15 million. What are we doing back there? Dallas Goedert, 14.25. Mark Andrews, 14 million. Do it live. Wow. Okay, here we go. Jahmyr Gibbs, as you can see right here. These are the numbers. Jamison Williams changes to number 1. Jahmyr Gibbs changes to number 0. Good luck. Say sayonara to those jerseys you got. Jahmyr Gibbs now wearing the number 0. Kind of interesting, but it sucks when players change numbers. It looks great. I think it's going to be interesting to watch him wear that number. It's kind of cool. I love the 0. The 0 is pretty badass. Okay, now, and we also, for anybody that missed the earlier show, real quickly, Joe Milton traded to the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a 5th and 7th round swap. So the Patriots draft Joe Milton in the 6th round. Creates all this buzz. I say it's intelligent. I say it's a genius move by the Patriots. And they get a little scared, we think, because the shadow of Joe Milton, the 6'5", 245 plus pound man, casts such a big shadow that I believe the new coaching staff, Vrabel and the boys, they don't want that shadow overcasting over Drake May, because then you can't see Drake May at all. That's what I'm thinking they're thinking. I'm not necessarily saying Drake May would fail, but I don't think they want this dilemma later if Drake May struggles for a couple weeks in a row, which is natural for a player that doesn't have as many weapons as he should have. And then there's talk about them maybe not going Travis Hunter now. What are they going to do? They're not going to go get this man weapons. You're going to go get him second-rate weapons. Diggs, I already have a problem with the Diggs situation, but the Diggs signing might mean that they don't want to go wide receiver anymore. This is part of the problem of why I didn't want Diggs to go there in the first place. You start filling holes and you start thinking you can get away with not filling that hole with a rookie wide receiver. So this, Diggs will be fine. We can do both. This is why I said, no, you can't really always do both. Now the Niners are not, or the Patriots are now looking to maybe not go Travis Hunter. This is all smoke and chatter and all that, so we don't really know. They're not telegraphing their actual decision, but I just don't. I don't like this. I don't like this. Okay, so if let's say Milton, he goes to Dallas, I love it. I don't love it in the sense that he doesn't go somewhere to start. I wanted him to go to LV, but Geno went to LV, so that was off the table. I wanted him to go to Pittsburgh in a way, but we talked about Pittsburgh and how that could be kind of a tough little situation, because what if they don't develop him right and they ruin it, from the jump, or they don't put him in the lineup right away? Like, I'm just kind of glad he's going somewhere where a team traded for him. They wanted him. He's the number 2. He better be the number 2. Or Jerry's capable of anything, though, mind you. But he's the number 2 behind a quarterback that has had many injuries, but 2 significant injuries that have taken him out for, the remainder of a season when the injury occurred. Missed some major time with the ankle. He's had a lot of time missed, and he's a very injury-prone guy. Now, I've said this. I love Dak Prescott's value this year. This doesn't change that. If anything, you just kind of have a cuff of some sort. Even if it's Dynasty, you go get Milton on the cheap. If Dak's your starting quarterback, or if you have a rotation of Dak and another similar quarterback, Dak is one of the best values in all of fantasy football when you get to quarterback territory rounds 8, 9, 10, 11. Love it. Dak's a steal. Tremendous steal. But the real celebration here is CeeDee Lamb. Getting Milton on roster sends Lamb on a safety net mission to Jupiter. Okay, so you're flying in Jupiter in your spacecraft. Here's the spacecraft flying to Jupiter. What if an engine goes out? What if the wing falls off? What if an asteroid hits the side and it spins out in a bad direction? What if you could have a ship that was following behind it the whole way to Jupiter? And if something went wrong, the ship could come under like a safety net and grab a hold of the spacecraft and take it the rest of the distance to Jupiter, so that it could, in Musk style, land on Jupiter like that. What if you had a backup plan for plan A? That's what happened here. In CeeDee Lamb, there is no safer wide receiver. I love Jahmyr Chase 1. I'm taking Chase 1. Don't try and twist up what I'm saying. It's going to make you embarrassed. I take Jahmyr Chase 1. I'm just telling you, there's no safer wide receiver. No safer wide receiver in the league from the quarterback room perspective than this man, CeeDee Lamb, because Joe Milton, mark my words, if Joe Milton gets in there, he's going to create a great problem for the Dallas Cowboys. I love Dak. Let me repeat it. I like Dak. Dak's very underrated. But Dak Prescott could lose his job to Joe Milton if Joe Milton ever gets into that lineup. And Jerry is very, very on the fence about Dak, even though he paid him. Very on the fence about Dak. He made a comment last year when they said, well, how are you going to win without Dak? He says, I think we'll do better without Dak. He got really upset at Dak, got really sharp. Remember, dragged his feet on the extension. Doesn't matter that they paid him. Joe Milton could come for Dak Prescott's job at some point. Mark my words, this is a monster. This is a machine. This is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the National Football League. And people that go like this over and over because they heard it somewhere else, you're going to look like a silly person once this thing unfolds the way it unfolds eventually. But right now, I love Dak. Right now, I love CeeDee. Tomorrow, I love CeeDee. With Milton, I love CeeDee. With Milton, CeeDee might be better. And that's why CeeDee Lamb is one of the safest Jupiter men that we have listed.
The Jupiter men. Jupiter is so large, every planet in the solar system could fit inside it. There are no bigger monsters than the There are handfuls of Saturn, Mars, and Moon men, but only 8 can be supernovas. I give you the 8 best picks in fantasy football.
They are the 8 supernovas. They are the 8 supernovas. The hateful 8 supernovas. I'm looking
at the 8. Supernovas. The magnificent 8.
Liftoff of mission 41B, the first flight of the orbiter Discovery.
Okay, so let's see here. We need to discuss the okay, so we're going to go into the tight end rankings. So I think we got all the news pretty much covered, the news that I wanted to get to today. We're going to go on over to the rankings. We got McBride, we got Bowers, we got Kittle. Who's number 3? Those that know me well know where I'm going with this one. And it wasn't too long ago he was everyone's number 1. And when I say not too long ago, I mean a year ago. Okay, so Laporta right here at 3. I think he bounces back on a vengeance. I think he comes in hot, has 10 plus touchdowns, is really going to hang with everybody with his touchdown production. I think we got a 1,000-yard player here, 1,000-yard player here. Who knows what Kittle does? He's very capable of doing it in both touchdowns or yardage or touchdowns or a mix of both. But I think, if there's a 900-yard, 12-touchdown player that's getting ranked here because of that touchdown total, it would be Laporta. I think he's going to have a phenomenal year. So McBride, Bowers, Laporta, Kittle. Dynasty, Kittle drops off. Dynasty probably holds true right here, to be honest with you. And then Tyler Warren gets in the mix potentially, depending on where he lands. But this is where it gets a little dicey. And we're just doing top 5 today. But as always, we're going to have kind of a little Tyruski going on here. I think you got to put Jonnu Smith in the mix for 5 after the season he just dropped. And these are 2025 rankings, not Dynasty rankings. I'll mention Dynasty, I'll reference Dynasty, but these are not Dynasty rankings. I think that after that, you get to a point where I'm going to go a little bold here, and this is a guy that gets drafted outside the top tight ends, top 10 tight ends quite often. And I'm going to say Evan Ingram, who's going to be the joker, used as the joker role in this Denver Bronco offense. I love Evan Ingram. I'm going to say these two guys are kind of tied for my number 5 ranked tight end for 2025. Now, of course, Hawkinson's in the mix. I know everyone's going to say Tyler Warren. I think Tyler Warren, depending on where he lands, is definitely in the mix to go next. He could definitely get into the mix there. So Hawkinson, Travis Kelce, Kyle Pitts, and Njoku. Honestly, it drops off quite a bit there after those guys. I think I could even go, if you want a dark horse, Isaiah Likely, that I think could jump on to the top 7, 8, scene in 2025. Love Isaiah Likely. Ingram is a older tight end. So if we go back here, I'll show you his age and little profile here. 6'3", 240, big boy. 30 years old. Turns 31, I believe, in September on the 2nd. So older player, but very capable as a tight end, playing 1 or maybe even 2 more years. He drops off a significant amount after we get into the Dynasty conversation. Him and Kittle drop out of the top 5 entirely. It's not even arguable. They drop out of the top 5. Tyler Warren jumps in. We'd have to really discuss other options that could slip in here. Again, I think Isaiah Likely is probably the most underrated player that we wouldn't dare put on the top 5 list. But you tell me to swing big, go dig deep, find me that gem like you did with Hawkinson a few years ago, like you did with other tight ends, Smitty. Tell me, Kyle Pitts is in the mix here. Kyle Pitts is just a little bit of a, draft him appropriately. Draft him at tight end 8 or 7. Just draft him smartly. He's down here. We've got Ingram and Jonnu up here at the 5 spot. Pitts is below that. I'm not drafting Pitts right there, but he's very, very good. Love Isaiah Likely. This is not somebody I'm going to leave on screen to confuse people and people think I'm ranking him 5 or 6. I'm telling you, he can finish 5 or 6, but you draft him much, much later. But he's probably the dark horse of the entire lot if I had to go deep enough and find a dark horse. Goddard, Ferguson, Kelce, they're all Andrews. They're all in the mix with Pitts. They are. Tyler Warren, they're all in the mix. TJ Hawkinson, there's really no strong debate that should make anyone feel like they're off base by having those guys in the not the tier below, but the rankings right below these guys. You can laugh at this one all you want, Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram in Denver is going to blow up. This is your sleeper tight end. This is the guy that's going to sneak into the top 5 tight ends that is living a lot of the time outside the top 10. Jonnu Smith gets very disrespected to the tune of near double-digit rounds. I don't understand it. What he just did, he's an older player too. All 3 of these guys, Kittle, Ingram, and Jonnu, this little triangle of glory right here, they're all older players. This is my top 3. This is interchangeable. Bowers and McBride, you certainly could argue back and forth. I'm just going to say the uptick in touchdowns comes from McBride, and the yardage and receptions never goes anywhere. So it's going to be a big year for McBride. Love the season that awaits for him. Getting paid isn't going to make him play less. Noah Gray, no, not this high, but Noah Gray, somebody you need to cuff to Kelsey, and he's a crafty pick later in the draft. Okay, so that's my tight end ranking. We're going to swing on over to the news, open the phone line, discuss whatever you want, and we'll be back tonight too. We're not leaving, but I'm just saying we'll be back again tonight too to draft tight ends in the Underdog drafts. Underdog promo code Smitty. Hit that link right here. Links in the live. Let me pin it. Let me drop it again. Here's the link. Promo code Smitty. Drop it like it's hot. Hit that link. Do it live. And let me pin it. Draft tonight with us. It takes 2 minutes to just fill that out. Dial into the phone line.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the Addict.shop phone line. And let's discuss Lamb, Milton, Dak, Kittle. Specifically, Kittle would be good too. Trey McBride, his new contract. Jahmyr Gibbs getting the number 0. Any Jahmyr Gibbs conversation you want to have, or anything relating to tight ends, or really anything. But let's try and get a couple questions from the jump on the topics at hand today. And drop your favorite tight end number 1 and 2 in the live chat. Let's see who you got. Just got Jonnu in the 13th in a best ball. I like that. I mean, double digits for a guy that exploded. I don't get it. I don't get the Laporta doubt, and I don't get the Ingram doubt, and I especially don't get the Jonnu doubt, because he just did it. He just did it. And here are the rankings right here. Top 5 tight end rankings. I'll take Kyle Pitts off because I don't want to confuse anybody. I was talking about him, but I'm not necessarily making him next. So I'm going to leave it like this. Keep everybody else off. You can cry and complain about Hawkinson. You can cry and complain about why Tyler Warren, a rookie, isn't unseating one of these guys. He certainly could, but we don't have a landing spot yet. Once we do, I can maybe get bold and put Tyler Warren on this line right here. He could be tied for 5th right here. But right now, he's not. So drop it like it's hot. Dial in. Hit the phone line.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Yeah, there's really no argument here. There's not a good one anyway. McBride, Bowers, McBride. Like, to act like there's something wrong with having one over the other is laughable. You know, and Tyler Warren, for those saying Tyler Warren doesn't need to be anywhere. Like, he's a good player, and he needs to go to a good spot. The tight end position does not translate well the first year into the NFL unless the conditions are ideal. So if we go somewhere kind of cloudy, he's not going to deliver his rookie year. So you have to kind of wait on that before you start throwing him into rankings. And bro, when I do that, when I throw Tyler Warren at 3 or 4, guess what happens? People watch the show and they go draft him at 3rd or 4th tight end drafted. I can't have people be doing that yet until we know what's up. He goes somewhere amazing, and New York would be pretty good. The Jets would be pretty good. That'd be a good landing spot. But if he goes somewhere amazing, awesome. If he goes somewhere where, you know, Jacksonville could look at it, and then we got to decide, is that a good spot? Is that hurt BT? Is he gonna, feed enough? Maybe. There's a lot of good places and a lot of places that could be good, and then a lot of places that I don't like. And keep in mind, Michael Mayer was arguably the best tight end from his draft class. Him and Kincaid were very big disappointments, and they were really good prospects. They were, dare I say, at the time. Obviously, Bowers became a better prospect, and that's not a misjudgment on our part or anybody's part when you say this is the best prospect since whenever. The college players are getting better and better and better. So at the time, and it was a valid prospecting analysis, Michael Mayer and Kincaid were two of the better prospects we had seen come out of college for a long time. And both of them busted. But 1 year, and Mayer hasn't even really busted physically. He just hasn't been given a shot. And Kincaid's kind of a mixed bag. He's been given a shot and didn't deliver, and he hasn't been given a shot, long enough. I like Kincaid a lot still, but he hasn't worked out. Michael Mayer was drafted the very next year. They drafted Bowers. So, no one's safe in the NFL. There's going to be a player in this NFL draft. There's going to be a high-profile name. It could be Breece Hall. It could be anybody. Could be Bijan. Somebody's going to get screwed a little bit by a landing spot. And that's just the way the NFL draft is. And we feel invincible right now. Right now, we're like, nah, it's going to be okay. And then when draft day comes, we're all going to feel like we got punched in the gut at some point. And we're going to be like, why? Why did this team do this? Why did they take this player? They didn't need it. It happens every year, and it feels like it won't. It feels like we got it all figured out. That's the nature of the NFL draft. Travis, you're live.
Quick, the Mayor thing. Like, you wonder why the Patriots wouldn't even throw Milton for May.
I know.
In the 5th and 7th swap.
Bro, Mayer.
Raiders could.
Yeah. And we talked about that earlier when you were kicking around ideas. You were throwing out ideas. Mayer and a pick for Milton. It was amazing. Like to not have to draft Tyler Warren, to give Drake May, Michael Mayer, and then you take a wide receiver. It would be the best move. And you know what? I'm so crazy that if Hunter went number 2 to the Browns, let's say, I am a wild man. Everyone knows that about me. I honestly, I would consider trading back depending on my intel, but I wouldn't have a single qualm about drafting Egbuka number 4 overall if Hunter was gone. But that's me. I know that he wouldn't need to go there, but we still have a long time before players climb draft boards. So before anybody twists up what I'm saying, I'm emphasizing how much I love Egbuka and how much I believe he would thrive with Drake May or in a situation where he's the one. And you using your intel, you trade back as far as you can. So before you finish typing, Steve, and you think you're real smart because you think Steve 5547 is going, Smitty just said he'd take Egbuka 4. I'm literally telling you, you get away with what you can get away with. And if your intel tells you he's not going in the top 10, then trade to 11. If your intel tells you he's maybe going to go top 15, you trade to 11. If you think he's going to have a shot at going inside the top 10 because McMillan's value's falling, then you don't trade, or you trade down a couple picks, or you do whatever you can do. Trading down is great because you can acquire a lot more weaponry. But I'm merely emphasizing that, to me, if you would have done what you just said, trade Milton for Michael Mayer and some 6th rounder or whatever, and then you go draft Egbuka, how are you not, especially if you are able to trade this 4 down to get Egbuka, how are you not setting up Drake May for just unbelievable success? I'm so baffled by the way the New England Patriots are approaching this situation. I have no idea what in the hell they're doing. No idea what they're doing.
All the confidence I had into.
Maybe Vrabel isn't the guy. Maybe and you could say maybe Vrabel isn't making decisions. Well, then that's on him too, though, for not saying I want to make these calls. Like, what in the hell is going on?
Another thing too, like not some Patriots getting away from the Patriots, but use his team. Don't throw them in the red zone. It's like they don't pepper them with targets like they should. It's knock at the door. Team would opt for a guy like that too.
Yeah,
I don't seem to like him.
It's so
like him fine, but he's like an elite player.
You know what's so dumb about the NFL and a lot of coaches though is you could literally go like this. Yeah, Betty, get Buffalo on the line. Okay. They're on line 4, sir. Yeah, Buffalo, this is New England. Yeah, we hear, you don't use Kincaid. We watch the tape. Okay, Buffalo, we'll send you blah, blah, blah. We'll overpay for Kincaid. Here's Buffalo. Yeah, we don't want to get rid of him. But you don't use him. Yeah, but we still don't want to get rid of him. Oh, okay. Well, we'll watch, 2025, see how you use him, and maybe we'll call you next year. No, don't even bother. Even if we don't use him, we're not trading him. He's a good player. Like, this is the way the NFL operates. It makes it, when draft day came out, I remember I told you guys this about 10,000 times, so I apologize if you heard this, but when draft day came out, I clowned it the first day. I remember, I think I said something. I forget when it came out. I don't think my YouTube channel was up then. This is a while ago, so I think it was on the radio when I did the radio show. But I clowned it. I'm like, so unrealistic. And as I started to really look into how GMs and teams truly operate, it is so true. It is so wildly, strangely accurate about how NFL teams are so dumb sometimes, and how they actually call each other, like on draft day, and go, "Hey, we're drafting 4. What's wrong with Stevenson?" And you're like really asking, "Well, we just didn't really need him, or we don't want him." Okay, well, we're going to take him at 4. We just want to check with you. Is there anything wrong with him? No, there's nothing wrong with them. And they trust each other. They talk to each other. They like, if it was me, I wouldn't tell a single soul anything that I was really going to do, what I was really thinking. And maybe some of them don't, but it's so wild to me. And so now I love draft day because draft day is so realistic. And I did it at first. I was like, there's no way they're this dumb, but it's totally that way. So Kincaid, real quickly, to your point though, Kincaid, you could literally call up Buffalo and be like, we want Kincaid. And you'd be like, no, and we're still not going to use him. Like, what in the hell? And same thing with Michael Mayer. Like, I bet you the Raiders aren't even interested in trading him. They better. They should. A team should be calling.
When it's like a running joke on sports radio in Boston about how he used to be with the Patriots and the GM of the Falcons. He called Belichick and what he thought of Julio Jones. I told him, and he too, but he's in narrative. He said, I like them, but 20 picks later you can get Jonathan Baldwin, and they're the same player. It's like,
yeah, though there's some that probably play the game. I'm just saying that there are a lot of teams that are really, really they operate in a dumb fashion. Potts wants to know this question. Thank you for the $2 holler. Superflex rebuilding Rice at 25 4th or Benson and a 26 1st. I mean, I need to know where the pick's going to be. If you think it's going to be an early pick, I'd probably rather have Benson in the shot at a 1.1 or 1.2. But if you think it's middle to late, or at least middle, but definitely not early, I'd probably take Rice, bro. I think Rice is going to have a really good career. I think he gets maybe not a 2-game suspension. He's coming back from his LCL injury. I'm not even that concerned. A little bit of hamstring issue, but there's nothing even talked about his hamstring. So it's an LCL. It's not a torn ACL. And the LCL, it's not like it ripped in half and they had to put it back together like you do an ACL. You cut a window out of your patellar tendon. You stick that piece of tendon in and drill it in, and it hardens and dies and then becomes a ligament. There's a process involved in the ACL. It's a very, very rigorous thing. An LCL, it's like you might have to repair it a little bit, but it tightens, it gets better, stronger, and then you rehab it. I'm not worried about his LCL at all. I think Rice will be right out of Godwin, Rice, and who was the other injured player that we're talking about? Godwin, Rice, and who were the 3 wide receivers? I'm blanking. We did the show on it. Godwin, Rice, and who was the other one? Damn it. Guys, help me out in the chat. Who's the 3rd receiver? We just did a show on it. Rice, Godwin, and whatever. But out of those 3, Ayuk. Ayuk is not going to be ready till midseason. Godwin's iffy for week 1. And Rice is the other injury player. I'm not worried about that. Olave is not injured right now, so he doesn't count, Boone, but good guess. And so Rice he's good to go. He's going to be good to go for week 1, I think. But even if he isn't, maybe they suspend him for weeks 1 and 2, and then he can heal up even more, rehab even more. Who knows? But I take Rice unless it's an early pick, Potts. But a good question. and hard for me to give you a concrete answer without knowing where that pick is. All right, go ahead, Travis. Sorry.
No, I'm good. The other thing I was just going to say was, I think
Was it a lot there?
that's got to be a landing spot for Warren, probably. I hate it as a pass range spot. The Jags, I hope they stick with Brenton Strange. It's just hilarious. A-Dot. But when they targeted Otten, Brenton Strange could, be enough to have an impact.
Yeah, I think from a BTJ standpoint, yeah, we don't want the Jaguars to draft Tyler Warren. But, if I'm running the team, I love Tyler Warren at 5. I think that'd be fine. But I also think there's, if Genty were still there, I'm taking Genty. If I'm anybody inside that top 6, Tennessee, Houston, or Cleveland, New York Giants, Patriots, Jaguars, Raiders, anybody but the Jets. And even there, you could make an argument that you're going to use. Look, I like Braylon Allen. I do like Braylon Allen, but Braylon Allen he's not Breece Hall, and he's certainly not Ashton Genty. So, honestly, you could even make an argument that the Jets could say, Braylon Allen will trade you for whatever low pick. Bye-bye. We'll draft Genty. We'll have Breece Hall and Genty, and Breece Hall is going to be our Gibbs-ish player. Genty's going to be our Monty, and it's going to be a little bit flipped, where the Monty version, Genty's better than. But every team in this top 10 should be drafting Ashton Genty, unless you want to argue the Jets shouldn't, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that argument because I like Breece Hall a lot. So every other team should be drafting Genty. Why? Because I think he's the biggest generational talent in the National Football League that we've seen coming to the NFL for a long, 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 long time, especially at the running back position. But this is the guy. This is the Adrian Peterson. This is when Adrian Peterson went, 7 overall, I think, in his draft. Adrian Peterson should have been taken. I mean, of course, there was the other players. I think that was Calvin's draft. There were some other players that were obviously still really, really, really good. But Genty is AP. You take Genty. You take him. I love Travis Hunter. I do. And I think Tennessee, Cam Ward makes a lot of sense. There's arguments to be made for sure. But Genty is the monster of this draft class. And so if it was me, the reason I even brought this up is the Jaguars. I like Tyler Warren there, but I'll be taking Genty. Especially if you're Liam Cohen and you know how to run the ball. And as much as I want Bigsby and Etienne to be those guys, I'm just telling you what I would do.
What would your top 3 landing spots for Warren be? Within reason, obviously, because he's going to get, I guess, you could say top 20. It's probably taken even earlier.
I'd probably say for fantasy, my top landing spots would be New England. I don't know if it's in this exact order, but New England, the Jets, and I think the Carolina Panthers are really nice too if we're talking about this top 10, because
that's actually a good point.
Your phone's cutting out. I don't know why.
Or went there.
If say it again.
That would almost be a similar situation. He was drafted a little later.
Yeah, but I don't know that he is anybody really for sure that they're even liking him to be their future. I don't know. I don't think I'd even worry about that. I think Michael Mayer was such a much bigger prospect. Michael Mayer was literally, so I don't know. New Orleans, they got Juwan. They just extended him, I think. So I don't think they have tremendous interest. Honestly, the Bears would be smart to consider it, though. I know everyone likes Kmet and everything, but this is, again, almost a generational talent. You don't worry about stuff like that. And Caleb needs all the help he can get. So, that would be a good move. Let's see. San Francisco, who knows what they do? They doubled up last year. Kittle, if they don't want to extend Kittle, maybe that's the move to make. Dallas, I don't know. Honestly, Ferguson, I like, but I don't know. Is he going to stay healthy? I think Tyler Warren's worth taking. I don't think Ferguson holds me back from drafting Tyler Warren. Just like none of these running backs here, but Breece Hall, hold me back from drafting Ashton Genty, including Kamara, including Etienne and Bigsby, who I love, including Stevenson, including any of these guys. I think Dallas should take. I think a lot of teams should be taking Tyler Warren. Jonnu Smith's fine in Miami. Indy would be smart too, but I don't like it from a fantasy perspective. Atlanta, yeah, and I don't think Tyler Warren's falling as far, but I'm just saying, like, if they could trade up, like Atlanta, F Pitts, bro. I like Pitts still a lot, but trade him.
Upgrade. Yeah.
Trade him.
Yep.
McBride, obviously, we wouldn't do that. I don't think he'll fall, but if the Bengals traded up to get Tyler Warren or Loveland, that'd be pretty good. That'd be really good. Denver. Chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Ingram is older.
Any of those.
Yeah, Ingram is older though. I mean, like I would still consider it if it was me. Chargers would be good. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, these teams would have to trade up way too high. It'd be interesting if, like, all of a sudden Washington moved up to like 9. Like, what are they doing? Are they going after an RB? Are they going after Tyler Warren? Are they going after Ekbuka? Are they going? What's Adam Peters doing? I can't wait. I can't wait.
Even Warren, the way those guys can move around the field.
Yeah. BBQ says tight end's always a blind spot, so this show is on point. Look, hey bro, I'll tell you, I've definitely landed some major tight end calls. I've missed some too, like Kincaid, but I truly believe Kincaid had the talent, but for whatever reason, some of these things don't work out. But we'll land you some breakout tight ends. Ingram's one of them for sure. Isaiah Likely's another one. The fact that you can get Jonnu, Ingram, and Likely all kind of in that 8 to 9 round range means that you can take almost 2 of them and double up on it and be secure. But, maybe tonight, BBQ, when we draft, we find out that McBride in round 3 is just the golden opportunity. Let's test it out a little bit. I haven't done enough drafting McBride in round 3 when it comes down to it and I actually get to the meat and potatoes of the show. And I did this live. I didn't know how I was going to rank these guys. I always do these live, impromptu. I was going to put Bowers 1, but then as I started to really press myself, I went McBride, and that is changing my way of how am I going to attack the next best ball draft? Because if I've been taking Bowers in round 2, but I like McBride more, let's try it. Let's try McBride in round 3, and let's see how it goes. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Kyrie Boston, you're live.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to tell you, that was Crystal Olave that you had made a video up about.
Okay.
My concussion.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, my bad saying that it was Ayuk, but Ayuk was the other injured receiver. But yeah, you're right. I did put that show together.
Ayuk was on there too. It was Ayuk, Godwin, and Olave.
Oh, okay. So Rice wasn't on it then. Okay.
About that.
Okay, Rice wasn't on the. I was thinking Rice was also in that video. Okay. Yeah, but out of all the receivers, there was another show I did then where I talked about the injured receivers. But yeah, I think Rashee Rice is the most likely to be fully ready to go week 1. So, what do you think about these tight ends, Kyrie Boston? Who you like? What value do you like the most? I like Laporta a lot too. If he's going like 4 or 5. Brock Bowers in round 2. Well, the question is though, do you like Bowers in the round 2, McBride in round 3, or Laporta round 4? Let's say. Because that's really weird.
Bowers in round 1. Oh, okay, I get you.
No. Bowers in 2, McBride in 3, or Laporta in let's say 4 or 5.
I'll probably hold out for John Smith because he's going way late in the draft.
Yeah, I don't mind that call at all either. I mean, there's a lot of good calls to make, bro. I mean, again, if you wait, and BBQ, Laporta is another secret weapon, 4th, 5th rounder if you feel like you have a blind spot for the tight end position. But it doesn't mean that any of these are targets for me. Again, best player available, BPA. It comes down to, okay, you're in round 2. You don't love who's there. And Bowers is there, and you're like, damn it, I don't, none of the receivers I want are here. Kyron got taken early. Bucky's gone. I'm going to try and get Breece Hall in round 3 because Breece Hall's ADP is in round 3 now, especially with the whole he's going to be in a committee type of commentary that's making people freak out, and they shouldn't be. So you go Bowers in 2. Like, that makes sense. But you got Bucky there. You got Kyron there, even though Kyron can slip in 3. In general, in non-best ball, he goes in 2. So, that's when I pass on Bowers. There's a plethora of opportunities. You get to round 3, Bucky's there, or let's say Bucky's gone, and Breece Hall's there, or JD5's there, or Josh Allen's there. Then all of a sudden I'm like, God, I can't take McBride here, but I like McBride. Okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to push it later. Then you got Laporta in like the 4-round area. Sometimes he falls to the 4-5 turn. Depends on where he's going. I love that. But if that doesn't work out, you're sitting there and let's say you didn't take your quarterback yet. Joe Burrow's sitting there. You go Joe Burrow and you push it later. Kittle goes a little higher than Laporta, so he's gone already. Now I get to a place where you've got your blind spots, right? You're not loving how you've been attacking the tight end position the last couple of years, like BBQ saying. These guys are safe. You take a Likely and an Ingram, a Jonnu and an Ingram, a Likely and a Jonnu. I think these are really good. You could take Kyle Pitts and Jonnu, Kyle Pitts and Ingram. Doubling up when you're grabbing these guys so late is smart. And in underdog, I think Ingram's going in double-digit rounds. I'll pull up the ADP rankings, but you could easily get Jonnu at like the 8, 9, 10 territory, depending on the draft, and then come in with Ingram after that. And so you're doubled up, and your blind spot feels very safe. You feel like you're not going to get hit because you got 2 good options, and it's not costing you anything. You're literally... So the ADP for Laporta is 65 overall. The ADP for Jonnu is 98. 98? Are we out of our minds? Our pets' heads are falling off at that value. What are we doing at 98? 98, Jonnu? What did Jonnu do for you last year? What did Jonnu do for you last year? What are we doing?
Hey, that's why I'm taking him in the mock draft, man.
So Tyler Warren at 103 is fantastic. That's good value. Everybody, when we talked about Tyler Warren slipping into these, rankings, you obviously don't need to take him anywhere near these top 5 guys. Tyler Warren's going in 103 territory. That's so late. Travis Kelce's even kind of good to complement one of these guys. If you take Mahomes especially, you got Mahomes and Kelce, but you take Ingram or Jonnu a little ahead of Kelce. Or take Kelce. No, actually, Kelce goes ahead of Ingram. I'm looking at the ADP. Ingram's ADP is 120. 120. What are we doing back there? Likely's 138. 138. Give me Likely and Ingram all day. Give me Likely and Jonnu all day. Give me Kelce and Ingram all day. Give me Kelce and Jonnu all day. That's how you draft late tight end. But that doesn't mean I don't like going these routes but the best player available guides you. Okay? I do go Laporta a lot, but sometimes I can't. Sometimes I say, sorry, Laporta, there's another guy here I like a little better. That's the way it should go for you. You never, I'm drafting McBride in round 3. Like as if you cemented in your, well, what happens if Kyron's sitting there? You're going to just walk right by Kyron Williams? I like Pitts a lot, Joe, at the cost of entry at times. Kyle Pitts is going in, 148. Yeah. So like in best ball. But I don't know if he'll go that low in a non-best ball. It's hard to know. But Kyle Pitts, you could cuff 148. Kyle Pitts costs you nothing. That's free. Like if Kyle Pitts does anything, you're almost like embarrassed. Like, oh, sorry, Kyle, I should have drafted you higher. Kyle Pitts at 148 with Ingram, smash. Kyle Pitts at 148 with Jonnu, smash. Kyle Pitts at 148 with Travis Kelce, smash. Like Kyle Pitts is the perfect second complement tight end. You don't even need to start him. It's pretty good value. Real quickly, Kyrie Boston, hang tight for me real quickly. Let me swing on over to Keith. Keith, you're live, and then I'll go over to Michael. Keith, go ahead.
Hey, Smitty, how you doing, man?
I'm good,
love the show, and shout out to everybody. BBQ is a beast, a monster.
He is.
Appreciate you guys all.
To Mars.
Send him to Mars. Yeah, BBQ is a monster. All right, the show loves you back. What can I do for you?
So, what my biggest concern as far as, and I love McBride, I'm not trying to take anything away from him personally, but my biggest concern with that whole situation that I feel personally is that, you got MHJ there who, like, in some people's eyes was kind of a disappointment. And I feel like that's going to be a big, for next year, focal point as far as getting him the ball, making sure that he's doing his thing and he's cooking, And I think that's going to take away a little bit from McBride's overall, reception rate, his yardage. I think he might go up a little bit in touchdowns, obviously. I mean, he didn't really have any last year, so. But so that's what makes me kind of nervous. That and the Cardinals' offense as a whole. So for me personally, I kind of lean towards, like you were saying earlier, a later round Jonnu Smith, and then, you take a likely, when you have two solid tight ends. So my question, I guess, is, do you feel more comfortable with your team having that Brock Bowers, that McBride, or do you have more comfort in having two top running backs, a top wide receiver, top quarterback?
Well, I think as I already explained, it depends on how the flow of the draft's going, because best player available guides you. I feel like people don't draft smart when they have any sort of plan of attack. You can only test out all the different scenarios. You're running a simulation of sorts with your mock drafts and with your underdog drafts. You kind of know where everything could go, so that when you're presented with these fork in the road decisions, you know which is the best direction to go at each turn. Your drafting should always be a fork in the road. There's one direction you could go, or there's multiple sometimes directions you can go, but you make the best decision at every stop, at every decision-making point. If you're not doing that, you're drafting badly. You're leaving meat on the bone. You could still come out with a good team and win the league, but you had a better shot if you went into every pick, you stopped, you looked at all your options, and you're at a fork in the road, and you say, who's the best option here? I like McBride. I normally go McBride, but Kyron's sitting there right in front of me, or Bucky fell somehow. How in the hell? I don't know, but I'm taking Bucky. So there's no answer to your question. Just like I said before before you jumped on here, it's all about McBride in round 3 is amazing if the players that are better than him aren't still on the board. Bowers in round 2 is just fine if the players that are better than him aren't on the board. Laporta in 4-5. It just depends. There's no way to quantify this or give you an answer. You just have to go through the draft making the best decision you can at every checkpoint. And the bottom line about McBride is this. Kyler doesn't not throw to him. It doesn't matter. There's no, hey, we're going to come in and we're going to dial back McBride. He looks for McBride everywhere. And the thing about Kyler and his style of play, because he can't see over the offensive line, is this is his safety net. And the routes that he runs, the positioning that McBride's at on the field when Kyler's scrambling out of the pocket because he hates to get hit. McBride's always the safest option for him. He's also usually the closest, and Kyler just throws to him, bro. There's nothing that's going to change that. The only thing we need is touchdowns. And if Kyler has a better year, then there's more targets to go around. And McBride, look at back-to-back years, obviously this first year in 2022, you can't even look at it. But he had 825 and 3 TDs in 2023, but he didn't really get going till later in the year. So we can't even really use that. And I think people are going to say, well, he doesn't score touchdowns. I really don't think 2023 is smart to use to extrapolate into future years with 2024. I think 2024 is really the year we can look at. It was his breakout year. It's an anomaly for touchdowns, in my opinion. And there's just no way he's not going to have over 130, 125, 140 targets because Kyler depends on him. Kyler needs him. Kyler is used to him. And 100 receptions minimum is what McBride's going to get, in my view, if he stays healthy. 1,000 yards, but probably 1,100 plus. But let's call it 1,000 yards, 100, and like 7 or 8 touchdowns. It's the same numbers, if not a little bit more. I think no matter what, McBride's going to ball. MHJ has nothing to really do with it. Kyler's locked in. those targets are almost compartmentalized, separate for McBride. Sometimes tight end targets are not affected by when a wide receiver gets added to a wide receiver room, everybody freaks out. The tight end's kind of got his own little amount of targets. He's almost in his own little bucket. I think McBride is as safe as can be, bro. And the concerns you have about Kyler and them throwing the ball more to MHJ will do well. But I believe that Bowers is a little bit more of a question mark coming out of last year with very little touchdown production as well, and goes in with Geno Smith as his star quarterback, which I think he'll feed him properly enough to get him in the 1-2 tight end ranking for sure. I'm not calling Bowers a bust or a concern or an avoid or a be cautious. I'm not doing that. But had he gotten a better quarterback, I think Bowers would have been light years ahead of everybody. But this is kind of one of those, like, he's quarterback proof situations where he's going to do well. But imagine if he had a quarterback that's a little bit better. Kyler's a wonderful athlete, one of the best, most gifted quarterbacks in the league from a physical standpoint, but he's just up and down quarterback, not an amazing NFL quarterback, but he can have huge games. He can definitely deliver to McBride. That's proven, and I'm not even scared of it at all. Anything else, bro? Okay, I think maybe he hung up. Let me go over to Michael. Michael, you're live. Oh, you know what? The phone. Hold on. I think the speaker. Let me turn it back on. All right, let's try that. Can you hear me, Keith? Keith, you still there?
Smitty, you there?
Yeah, Keith, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right,
yes.
Anything else, bro?
So I guess my biggest thing is, do you think the point differential between, say, a Bowers or a McBride is substantial enough over a later round tight end to warrant that draft capital?
But like I just answered that, bro, like for like 5 minutes. you can't quantify it. You can't measure it because you have to take the best player available, and there's a way to build both of these strategies equally. And you can't go into a draft saying McBride in round 3 is better than this because you don't know who falls to you in round 3. If it's Kyron, then the answer is no. If it's Bucky, the answer is no. If it's 6 points per TD pass and JD5's there and you want to take JD5 or Josh Allen, then no. If let's say you get to the 3rd round and you don't like who's there, you're forcing yourself to take somebody because it's a position, not a player, then that's when you snag McBride. And it's just a fork in the road. Like, you got to make the best decision you can at every checkpoint. And there's no way to quantify that.
No, absolutely. And you know what? I got to give you mad props, man. Your show has helped tremendously in that. And you guys do a great job. The community, everybody. And I appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you, Keith. Call back anytime. I got you here in the system. If you got another one, call back. I appreciate you, bro. Later.
All right, man. Thanks.
Michael, you're live. Kobe.
Hey, Smitty, you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, it's Cody. First time, long time caller here, man. Nice call, yeah.
Attaboy.
Got a question. I want to play devil's advocate here, though. So before his rookie year, he was kind of top 3?
You vanished there. I don't know if you're talking in your shoulder. We can't hear you, bro.
You hear me right now,
yeah,
City?
We can hear you now, but we couldn't a second ago. Go ahead.
Yeah, perfect. I want to play devil's advocate, right? And kind of just play before his rookie year, kind of balled out, didn't he? He was like top 2 tight end or top 1 tight end. I mean, are we maybe pushing Bowers too high? I agree with the McBride pick. He is solid.
What's Laporta have to do with Bowers? But what's Laporta have to do with Bowers? Just because like they're completely different players. They got completely different.
Just the rookie year. Rookie year.
But what's the correlation there? Just because they're both sophomores, like the sophomore curse.
We kind of had their value high, right? And then kind of Laporta didn't.
I know, but what I'm trying to point out is you're taking something that has nothing to do with Bowers and you're trying to attach it to him. Like, what are you going to? Because maybe he.
No, like I said, I was playing.
I know, and I'm answering it passionately. I'm not mad at you.
He did get a new quarterback.
I got you, but I'm just saying your stance is not one that has substance, and I'm not saying that about you or you're playing devil's advocate. So I'm just trying to attack it the way I'm attacking it. I'm just passionately telling you how I feel. Yeah. There's no correlation. It's like saying don't draft Genty at 11 in fantasy football if his ADP climbs to the 10 or 11 overall. If Genty goes in round 1, don't draft him there because MHJ failed.
So you're not. So I guess the question is, you're not worried about Bauer.
What's it sound like? What's it sound like? My answer is. I just told you. I'm not comparing. And again, I'm not mad at you. I'm just trying to answer the question as best I can with Pat. I'm working on myself. All right? I'm trying to have a good bedside manner, but sometimes I can't control myself. But what I just said is telling you I don't give a crap about sophomore slumps, or it's case by case. Every player is different, and you can't look at Bowers and go, "Oh, Laporta." Look at Laporta's. Let's pull up Laporta's film. What's Laporta have to do with it?
No.
I was
only comparing just because they're rookie years.
I got you. Sophomore slumps. People talk about it all the time. CJ Stroud. Does that mean JD5 is going to be bad because CJ Stroud had a sophomore slump? You know what I mean? We can't play that game. They're all individual players with different situations. So yeah, I'm not worried about that one single bit.
Yeah.
But
I just wanted a different perspective on that.
But bro, the one thing that is concerning is the quarterback situation and change. Like, we don't know exactly how that could affect it. It doesn't have to do with it's his second year. It has to do with he doesn't have the same quarterback situation. It should be improved a little bit, you would think. Honestly. I mean, it's been upgraded a tiny bit, but it just wasn't what we wanted.
Now, does Michael Mayer play more of a factor this year?
I mean, why would he step in now and take away from what people consider to be the best tight end in football, you know? What has Michael Mayer done at all to make you think that? Did he?
No, exactly nothing. So, no, absolutely.
I mean, they're good questions. I'm not saying they're not, but they're very easy to shoot down.
In the brain. Yeah.
I got you. And I don't know that I can guarantee you that Bowers doesn't have what everyone's going to constitute as a sophomore slump because of Geno and because of Pete Carroll. But I don't think it's because he's a sophomore. It has nothing to do with Laporta. It has to do with, the reason he fell from 1 to 2 for me was because of Geno and wanting him to get that quarterback he didn't get. If they traded for Joe Milton and Joe Milton was behind Geno, I'd feel pretty damn good. And I think on this show, I'm just guessing because this is all impromptu, but I would have probably had Bowers at 1 if Milton was sitting there on the bench waiting in the wings for Geno to just slip up. I know Geno just got an extension. Pete's not going to, move away from him too quickly. But keep in mind that Russell Wilson, under his reign, came out of nowhere, and he was really excited to back that. So it could have been. You never know. All right, bro. Appreciate you. Call in anytime, Cody. Yeah, call in anytime.
Appreciate it.
Let me go over to 646. What's your name and where you calling from, bro? Hello?
Hello?
You're live.
Smitty, how are you?
Hello?
What's up, 646? What can I do for you?
This is Sigurd calling. How you doing, Smitty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My weekend was great. I just had a nice bite to eat. Hit me with the question. Go.
That's good. I'll get to the point. Listen, I just did a draft in the league where it's like 6 hours per pick. It's a big money league. I just want to know your opinion how I did. And listening, coming back right now, listening to the show, I actually drafted Kelsey before John Smith. It was a very hard decision.
It's understandable.
There, but, it is.
All right. Hit me with your team. Go.
Right. So I had the second pick overall. So I drafted Bijan Robinson, number 2.
Okay.
And by the way, this is the 1 point per reception league. You can start two wide receivers, 2 running backs, and 2 flags, and tight ends get 1.5 points per reception.
Okay.
On the outlier. So the first pick, I had Bijan. Then I got Bucky, second round. Then I got Breece Hall.
Barkley?
No, I got Bucky in the second. Bucky Irving.
Bucky.
Okay. Breece in the third.
Okay, and this is a 1 QB, right?
1 QB, right.
Okay. I like it so far. Let's see what you did at wide receiver.
Thank you. Well, in the 4th round, I didn't get wide receiver because I got Jalen Hurts.
Okay, this is going to get interesting here.
And I won, then I get Devonta Smith.
Real quickly, let me stop you real quick. Look, if you want to go RB this year, and even go RB QB in your grandma leagues, you could definitely pull us off. Like as you're hearing, he did. Devontae Smith and Debo are fantastic wide receiver ones.
Oh, this is not a grandma league.
Yeah, sure.
$150 league.
So, you don't think grandma spend $150? Bro, this is a grandma league. I know you don't want to hear it. I play in a grandma league once in a while too. There's no shame in it. But everybody wants their league to be full of sharks. Sharks aren't letting you draft Bijan, Bucky, Breece Hall, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, and Debo Samuel.
Hey, if they gave me good players, I'm good.
It doesn't matter. You got a shot at winning this league.
Available,
Okay, but it's a grandma league.
Devonta Smith and Debo Samuel.
Okay, who's your next guy?
You
let me determine if it's a grandma league. So far, I'm feeling like there's a couple of people that are incapacitated in this league. How many people are in this league? Is it 8 or 10?
Maybe because they're still sleeping. It started on March 22nd, and we just finished it today.
Okay, how many people are in this league? Is it an 8-man league or a 10?
No, it's a 12-team league.
Okay, so 2 people are definitely incapacitated. How many auto drafters were there? Keep going, bro. Hurts, Bijan. Look, I'm making fun of you because your team's so good. Like, that obviously doesn't hurt your feelings. Okay. Hurts, Bijan, Bucky, Hall, Devontae Smith, Debo. Who else you got? Your team's phenomenal.
Oh, thank you. I got, in the 7th round, I got Kelsey. Then I got Ramondre Stevenson. And then in 9 and 10, I rolled up to wide receivers. I got Cooper Kupp and Josh Downs.
Okay. I like it.
And after that, I went for... Thank you. I went for some rookies. I was like, I'm just going to swing for the fences. I got Dylan Sampson.
Okay.
He's a small guy, but I really like him.
No, he's not a small guy. He's bigger than Bucky Irving. Go ahead.
Right, but he's like 5'8", That's why he's like...
All right, hit me with it. He's 200 pounds. He's 200 pounds. He's good. All right, hit me with it.
Yeah, and...
We call him the briefcase, by the way, the Samsonite briefcase. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then I also picked Jaden Higgins.
Okay.
I don't know. I like his combine.
Is this a dynasty league or no? I'm just curious.
No.
Okay,
this is just redraft league.
Just making sure. You know when it's a grandma league when someone goes, I don't know. Is it a dynasty league? Not sure.
It's a redraft league, and then after that, I
one of the grandmas too.
French as a 2nd tight end.
All right, hey, look, we could pat you on the back all night long, but we got to go and help people that actually need help. Nice team. I'm going to say that you have a real likelihood of winning this league. Congrats. Any other questions you got? Nice.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question about Jahmyr Smith. I really like him. I think he's a very good athlete, but what worries about, like my personal opinion about him, he had these phenomenal, breakout games even in the early years. And he had some games even last year where he broke out without Tua. So with Tua, he broke out with Tua for about 5 or 6 weeks altogether. He had phenomenal games. I'm just kind of curious, and I think he's a good value, but I'm a little worried if Eric Hill is going to go back to form or they're going to draft another wide receiver. Do you think Janu can be? Because I know you have him as a top 5 tight end. Do you think that he's going to be ceiling, or you think he can even, fit right in the top 5 end?
I think that Tyreek Hill is not the same player. If they trade him away, they'll probably draft a receiver, sure, but then you have Tyreek Hill off the team. I don't think look, Jonnu Smith was Tua's trusted target. It feels a lot like the trust that he has with Jonnu is the same kind of trust Kyler has with McBride. Not saying that Jonnu will beat McBride out this year, but I'm just telling you, it seems like this is Jonnu's guy, or Tua's guy. I'm not worried about, especially the cost of entry. What are we even talking about? Like he can have a disappointing year and still earn his ADP. Jonnu Smith is getting disrespected to the point where it doesn't even matter. He could, if he lands, he almost wins you a league. So it's great value. He's getting disrespected to a tremendous degree. All right, bro. Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, Smitty.
Later. Jonathan Coble, thanks again for the super chat. Got Ingram for AJ in a dynasty, Barner. Ingram's really, really nice, man. And even in a dynasty, I'd trade for him. Even though he's 30 years old, it's like people want to get rid of him for nothing. And if in redraft, he's an 8, 9, 10 round pick in redraft, imagine in dynasty, you could trade a 3rd rounder, 4th rounder for him. Who cares about a 3rd or 4th rounder in a rookie draft when you can get a guy that can help take you to the promised land? All right, Kyrie Boston, final thoughts. Then I'll go.
That Milton thing earlier, I was a little upset for him, man. I was mad that they got it only. But I was like, damn, at least a 5th or a 4th rounder.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah, I don't know what they thinking, man.
Yeah, I guess I had some other super chats.
But
you're right, Travis.
Can I throw one more thing at you?
Yeah, real quickly.
Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's been a steal in the mock drafts I looked at, man. I think he's underrated as a wide receiver.
Yeah, he's going around 3, bro. He's going around 3. Garrett Wilson's great round 3. You know who he played
round 4.
You know, I don't know about round 4. I haven't seen. Those are nursing home leagues, bro. Those are great grandma leagues. I don't see Garrett Wilson falling 4. Yeah, there you go. Great grandma leagues. ESPN. You know, ESPN mock draft. Are you talking about ESPN mock draft?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. What are you doing? That's like, bro. That's like going to California to prepare for your trip to Antarctica. Like I'm gonna go to California beaches and just spend all summer just with my shirt off because I'm going to Antarctica later this year. So I'm gonna do a little training, a little mock hanging out. And then I'm gonna go to Antarctica. What are you doing on ESPN mock drafts? They aren't gonna prepare you for anything, bro. Garrett Wilson round 4? I don't think so. I
play a lot of leagues on ESPN.
Well, I hope that ADP stays for you because that's crazy. Is anybody seeing Garrett Wilson in round 4 other than on ESPN mock drafts again, which is not the proper place to prepare your mind? But I guess if you round 4, come on, Kyrie Boston, you're almost getting hung up on. No.
Round 4.
No.
He's going around.
Finish him.
No. Like, I got a lot of people watching right now that are depending on this information, and I had to hang up on you because it's part of the rules. You're giving people some sort of information that's going to lead them down the wrong road. Garrett Wilson, round 5? Come on, bro. That's not happening. Round 4 is not happening. Yeah, you're barely getting. Yeah, he's going at the top of round 3. Like you're licking your chops at that 25, 26, 27 territory, and Garrett Wilson's still sitting there. You're licking your chops. He doesn't go past the middle of round 3. And I know that's underdog ADP, so maybe we give it 4 or 5 spots and move him down. But, bro, if he even sniffs the top of round 4, how many grandmas are incapacitated in the nursing home that you're drafting in? Like, if round 5, come on. Yeah, you know what's funny is Cole's probably right. He's probably doing Superflex, and he didn't tell us. You guys never talk about something. No, I don't know that he is, but it'd be funny if he was. But it's like, if you're doing a Superflex, you got to tell somebody. Everyone's going to assume it's not Superflex. People that assume you know it's Superflex, it head scratching to me. Round 4, let alone round 5. Come on, Kyrie Boston. Let's clean that up. Let me get to these super chats real quick. Travis, you're right. They've been sitting there. BBQ, I'm so sorry for leaving out there. Coble, you still here? Where's Coble at? Coble's still here, right? Coble said, what are your thoughts on Hawkinson? Can he be top 5? Sure. He's had trouble, health has been a concern, but, he definitely could have a strong, bounce back 2025 campaign. He absolutely top 4 to 7 capable. There's a wide range of, he could be number 4. Like, I like Hawkinson. It's not bad. It depends on the value, but landing spot depending. Do you see Loveland being in the first of rookie drafts, the first round? Also, would you trade 2.1 for Coleman or draft at that spot instead, I'd probably rather a 2.1. I think right now it feels bad, but when you're on the clock at 2.1, like if you were to trade it and watch the draft and you see the guy at 2.1 and you see who's available, you're going to go, son of a bitch, why didn't I take the 2.1? It's always better than it feels like it's going to be. Take the 2.1. I love Coleman, but we have no idea if he's going to. Is Coble still here? Coble is still here. Always here. Okay. I find myself at round 5 trying to decide between a tight end and or best player available. Always best player available, bro. Don't force it. I'm telling you. Always take best player available. There'll be tight ends later if there's a better option than a tight end in any of those rounds. So you should never be torn. You should be at a fork in the road. The only time you should be torn is when the best player available options are equal and you're like, which one do I want more? Or does my team fit this best player available a little better? And then that's what makes them the best player available. Because you factor in your team need with best player available. That's why if you have JD5 already and let's say Lamar's still sitting there on your next pick, Lamar's not best player available because you're in a 1 QB league and you already have JD5. Like, so you got to account for your team as well. Or QB, but looking at your list, it seems like a lot more tight end depth this year. Do you place more value on a high-end QB or tight end? Again, BBQ, this is the same question that the guy asked me. There's no way to answer this question because everything is about being at the fork in the road or the checkpoint in your draft and making the determination about who's available. There's no, if anybody says it's better to have a tight end or a position over this, they're not looking at all of the picture. You have to look at the grand scheme of everything and make your decision on the clock. I can't tell someone that tight end is better than quarterback or quarterback's better than tight end. JD5 might not be the best pick in round 3. He could be the best pick in round 3. Laporta might not be the best pick at 4.8. He could be the very best pick at 4.8. So it's always going to come down to when you're on the clock, you're making the best decision possible. And that accounts for your team build. It also accounts for the flow of draft. It accounts for if you're drafting with a bunch of hungry running back, hungry people, then guess what? Running back seems like an attractive way to go in the 2025 draft for you in your grandma league or whatever, or your work league or your competitive work league. If running back hungry is the approach, then damn, bro, go Bijan. I love the wide receiver running back approach, but if you're not going to have Kyron or Bucky or any of those guys at your second round pick, at 2.10, 2.11, then Gibbs or Bijan makes sense. So it's all dependent on your flow of draft, your expectation for how people consume positions, and never, ever, ever draft them. This is my saying, BBQ. I know you've been here. I don't think you've been here for an off season before this one, but my saying goes as this: never draft a position, always draft a player. And if you do that, you'll never leave meat on the bone. If you go drafting a tight end because you want to draft a tight end and you don't take the best player available, you left meat on the bone. That's my best advice I could give you. And if you approach it like that, it's very liberating to be on the clock in round 3 and just stop for a minute. It's like think of it like going out the door, closing the door, taking a deep breath, opening the door and walking in and assessing the situation differently than if you're just sitting here with everything zooming around you. What's the scenario now? Close the door, deep breath, open it. Who's the best player available? That guy. Boom. One decision at a time. Baby steps. This is how you make any big set of sequence of decisions in life, is make one decision at a time, one foot in front of the other. And that's how you draft. Too many people don't do that. Go ahead, Travis.
I would say,
you bet, BB.
Like last year, tight end seemed like it was really, really deep. It didn't end up being, so it's tough year to year to, know where it's going to end up. So, like you said, best player available. Way to go.
Yeah, you can't really go wrong. The only thing that can happen with best player available is you could, on occasion, not every time, on occasion, you could leave your draft with a big hole at one of your positions, i.e. your running back 2, i.e. your wide receiver 3. And I used to have draft calls. I don't have them anymore. I just don't have time for them. Doing anything to help one person ends up hurting me versus trying to do something that could help thousands and then grow that way. So I stopped doing draft calls. But when I did draft calls with people, I'd have guys that I would call up and they'd be so excited to draft with me and say, "Bro, we're gonna do it. We're gonna crush it." And I'm like, all right, let's do this. And a lot of time, about 90% of the time, I'd be in their AirPod or their earbud, and the league wouldn't know that I'm on the phone 90% of the time, because it's like kind of embarrassing, I think, for your buddies to make fun of you. You're like, I'm drafting with Smitty. I'm, paying somebody to help me. So, but everyone loves it, but they just don't want to admit it, right? So they're sitting there going, okay, we're on the clock here in a couple seconds. And I'd have like maybe 1 or 2 out of every 5 people. They'd be so gung-ho, like, let's do it. Who do you want? I'm like, bro, you got to draft this, not me. I'm helping you. But they still wanted me to make the pick or whatever. And so it comes down to like, do you have the balls and the courage to see this through? We're going best player available. It might create a lopsided team. And they're like, no, whatever, let's do it. And by the time we get done, the team would be straight fire, but we'd have like the Bucky Irving, the Bigsbys of this year, in combinations of players that have to fend for that flex spot or that running back 2 spot. But we're loaded everywhere else because best player available opened the door to every position. And they'd freak out. And they would be worried Williams. And they didn't like the imbalance. They're like, I got it. So they destroy the team. They come back to me weeks later. About 1 out of every 5 people. They come back weeks later and they'd be like, I traded away this guy. And they ruined it. They ruined the team. Like, it'd be frustrating. So you got to be careful.
That's where they can adjust the adapt.
Yeah, and best player available, it's sometimes not for everybody. You got to be honest. So when I ask somebody on the phone line, when we're doing the drafts, like, are you okay going this route? Because I'd ask them, because I had experience, knew people would freak out. And I can tell when there's a nervous Nelly on the line. And so I'd really, really hammer home the point, like, are you going to be okay with it being like you're literally set? You have 2 wide receiver ones. You have a running back 1. You have a quarterback that's a top 3 quarterback. You have this, but you're going to have a weak rotation at running back. But we're going to have Charbonnet. We're going to have, Bucky Irvings. We're going to have those. You're going to land it. We're going to hit it. And they just freak out, bro. They can't. So best player available, just to warn you, can occasionally give you a hole in your team that you've got to, guess what? Work all year long to try and fill, or draft in a way with working on the waiver wire to fill it. And it doesn't always do that, but sometimes it can. But the beauty of it is that you're solid everywhere else. So it's the only problem you have. Would you rather have 4 problems in your business or 1? And so it's kind of like that approach. Like, you're loaded everywhere, but you might have a hole somewhere. Not always, but just sometimes. And I'm just warning people about that. But best player available is the only way. It's really the only way to not win, because you can win doing something else, but it's the only way, in my opinion, it's the only way to maximize every single pick and make the very best pick you can every single turn. That's the key. Travis, what else you got? And then I'm gonna jump off the line, be back to talk to you guys about midnight-ish. And then I think I got John on the phone.
What's up?
All right.
I'll talk to you when you come back.
Rock out. Yeah, thank you, Travis. Appreciate you. Rock out and then John. Real quickly, boys. You called in at the end here, but rock out. You're live. Rock out.
What do you think about the Kyle Pitts rumors about being traded, or do you actually think it actually happened or traded somebody?
I mean, I haven't seen anything legit saying that Kyle Pitts is getting traded. I think people make it up. But I don't know that I don't know. Is there a report out that says that they're fielding phone calls on it? Like, are they?
Not exactly, but I keep seeing stuff like every day I'm waiting.
But like, what is specifically, like, read off one, or tell me the gist of it, like that. Hey, I comb the news wires all day long, all day. I don't feel I would go live if I felt like Kyle Pitts was on the trade block. I think that he's been disappointing enough, and the Atlanta Falcons, as I said, Tyler Warren would be an amazing pick, or Loveland potentially at 15 if they traded him. So it's certainly possible. I just don't know that there's good legs to it right now. But I mean, anything can happen, bro.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts has certainly been a disappointment.
It was more on the gist of them jumping up to get somebody.
Attaboy BBQ. He found us during the waiver wire show last year. The off season's the best, isn't it, BBQ? It's so good. It's nonstop. This is not like a week of, we're going to crank up the content for the draft. Like, we do this straight through to week 1. And I believe, it's the bread and butter of the show is the offseason. I'm not saying that we don't do good during the in-season, but damn, our off-season blows everyone out of the water, even our in-season. But I'm going to change that. I'm going to figure out ways to make the in-season feel as awesome as the off-season. I really am. Patreon helped you a lot too. Great, man. And if anybody else wants to join the Patreon, here's the link. It's 365 24/7 chatting. I'm going to pin that link. Make sure you click that pinned link right now to join the Underdog draft tonight. Just be ready with the Underdog app downloaded and everything ready to go. Here's the Patreon link. I'm going to pin this right now in the live chat. There it is. The Underdog link's in the description of the video. But Patreon's 365 24/7 live chat environment. It's basically everybody that's in here being helpful in the live chat right now. Those people are pretty much on the Patreon. And so you go to the Patreon and ask a question. It's just like the YouTube live chat, but 365 24/7. So hit that link that I just dropped, and it's in the description of the video if you're watching the replay. All right, rock out. Anything else?
And if he is in Atlanta, what would be your trust level? It's like kind of hard to trust him.
Yeah. Well, tight end Kyle Pitts, tight end 8, 9, 10. With good upside. But like I said, his ADP is like that would be my high expectation of him. But his ADP is in the 130, 140. So like you literally can draft Kyle Pitts as your second tight end, bro. You could grab Kelsey and Kyle Pitts. You could grab Ingram and Kyle Pitts. You could grab what do we say? Jonnu and Kyle Pitts.
Ingram.
Yeah, Ingram, Kyle Pitts, any of those guys, easy. So I would probably draft him as my second tight end because you can. But yeah, we'll see if he gets traded, bro. It could be interesting if he does. I mean, it's certainly possible. I just don't know that there's legitimacy to it now or like a deal almost about to happen or anything. It's a lot of people kicking around rumors. Falcons not shooting down. Sometimes a team not shooting down rumors that are rampant is saying something, though. Sometimes, bro, rumors trigger a fan base eruption or the front office to kind of look into something, and it doesn't always happen, but sometimes rumors create trades. It's wild. It happens all the time. Well, not all the time, but it's rare. But I mean, it's happened over the course of history, where something that I believe was not in existence until the fans or big media made it known that this would be a good move, and then all of a sudden a team looks into it because they hear it, or the team that has the player that the suggestion was about, they start kicking it around. So, all right, rock out. Appreciate you calling tonight, pal. Gotta go. Later.
All right, cool.
Real quickly, John, go ahead.
Hey, Smitty, thanks for the call. So I wanted to see if any of these rumors surrounding Purdy going to Tennessee are true. And my question is, if you already have like a top 3 tight end in a Superflex, no tight end premium dynasty league, like 10 team, 8 team, doesn't matter, would you be willing to draft a second elite tight end in a rookie draft, or would you have to build a team off that?
It just depends on what you can get, bro. I'm very much in the business of trying to use an extra piece that I don't need for my lineup to couple with a player that I don't love as much as, let's say, a Bucky, and I try and upgrade to Bucky Irving. I think the 2-for-1s are the best source of the best direction to get into something like Bucky if you don't have a Bucky, or if you want to upgrade, let's say, into Neighbors from a wide receiver that's a notch down from him. I mean, it's a great accoutrement to throw into a trade. But yeah, I mean, trading a tight end straight up for like what player? What player do you have? Where's the?
Would you, in other words, not trading, but would you build a dynasty team with 2 elite tight ends?
Yes, in a 1 tight end league?
Yeah, but
no. Why would you do that?
Play whoever you want.
Why would you do that? That would be that's.
Just only other like certain circumstances when like all the players in the rookie draft, they end up with terrible landing spots. Like in that type of situation, would you go ahead and just say, screw it, we're taking the safest guy, happens to be Tyler Warren, happens to be him, you take.
I mean, there's trade value there, so that's not the end of the world. But you're saying like you build your dynasty around 2. That's not building your dynasty. You're drafting a rookie pick. But yeah, would I take Tyler Warren if I already had a great tight end? I would consider it, but would I take any of the 4 running backs? Would I take Ibuka? Would I take... I mean, I'd take Tyler Warren if all my favorite guys were gone, and then I would try and trade my tight end or Tyler Warren, which I think I'd have pretty good success trying to do. But the way you framed it almost sounded like you were going into an inaugural draft and you were going to base everything around drafting 2 tight ends. That's the kind of way that it framed. I would definitely be okay taking a Tyler Warren in the rookie draft if he was the best player available. But then you try and trade him, or you trade your tight end. You can't. I mean, you can't. You can hold on to both of them.
And Purdy.
Oh, and Purdy.
And then is Purdy going to Tennessee? Is that
no, bro? I have you seen a live stream from me on Purdy going to Tennessee yet? Like, no. I mean, no, bro. There's nothing true to that. Look, Purdy's in the middle of trying to ink his deal, and there are a lot of people that are throwing out trade ideas. There's a lot of news aggregates that say, "Oh, SI Sports Illustrated proposed this trade." The teams didn't propose it; they're proposing it. This would be cool. What do you guys think if this happened? That's all it's kept. There's no Purdy trade. Believe me, bro. I'd be live on that. I'd be live streaming. I'd be ending this live stream and starting another immediately to go over the Purdy trade. There's no Purdy trade. Purdy's not getting traded. Not right now. Not to say it can't happen if, let's say, the negotiations went south. But, bro, the negotiations haven't even begun. So, like that, the Niners don't do anything up front early. So, any kind of trade would be like on draft day at the very earliest or something. And that would only be if the Niners had a change of heart and then some really bad information got released. And it's like, or his UCL was a problem and they didn't even need to, like, they can't even trade him injured, but they would be going after another quarterback. Like, it had to be some crazy thing for them not to be targeting Brock Purdy right now. Brock Purdy's their guy. All right. Keep on the lookout. You see me go live in a couple hours on Brock Purdy, we'll mention you. All right. Last caller, 603. You're live. Who's this again?
Hey, Smitty, what's happening, man? It's Keith.
Keith, what's up? You're live. You got about 10, 15 seconds. I gotta jump.
All right, I got an acapella freestyle rhyme for you on the show. My only intention was to mention I was thinking about my draft while I was sitting in detention. About all these players and their impressions. Gather around for the smoke session. We always keep it going in the right direction. You better use protection on your selection nowadays with all these statistics like a natural selection. Correction. I got the remedy for all this preconceived assembly. Instead, encourage free thinking. Instead of thinking in the belly of the beast, at least stop watching the fantasy football show.
You better get my name right. You better get my name right in there, bro.
We do.
All right, nice work
with Smitty and the crew, because you know how we do.
I love the penitentiary or whatever you had at the beginning. It makes me think you're calling from a payphone. It's gonna go. You have 30 more seconds. Bro's in the pen right now, dropping rhymes. We're gonna call you. We're gonna call you Jailhouse Keith,
bro.
Jailhouse Keith.
Oh snap,
bro.
No, right. I love the show, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you later, bro.
All right, later.
Rock Out's got competition. He's got a rap competition going on. We need to have a spit off between Keith and Rock Out. Keith, if you're interested in that, Rock Out. If you're interested in that, drop it in the chat. Maybe tonight we do a battle. Smitty's is the off season. Nothing beats the fantasy football show. Thank you, pal. Coble to the moon. Coble also said, "Great stream, Smitty. Love tight end talks." Pause. More, please. Appreciate you. BBQ says tomorrow night is membership night. We'll be giving away 50 memberships for every 50 likes. Woo! Woo! Tomorrow. You hear that? Friday night is membership night. Guys, every 50 likes, BBQ's giving away 50 gifted memberships. Unreal. I'm going to keep that right here. Let me put it on the next screen. We'll keep it locked and loaded there. Found this show last November. Smitty waiver wire advice turned it around. Thank you, BBQ. Appreciate you. You guys hear that? Be back tonight. Drop the BBQ emoji if you could. Guy's a freaking monster. BBQ was born. When he came out, he went, "Mama, super chat, gifted membership, mama." guy's been gifted membership since he was born. Back there. Appreciate you for that. I'll see you all tonight. What do you want to be when you grow up, son? I'm gonna drop super chats until I break the internet. BBQ's a monster. All right, see you all later. I'm live whenever news breaks, and then also Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Deuces. Thank you, Mods. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Space Ricky. Thank you, Sick Nasty. Thank you, Blackbeard. Thank you, Kenny Powers. Thank you, DeBolt. Thank you, Vampy. Thank you, Terry Roberts, if you're out there somewhere. Travis, is that all the mods? Did I get them all? All right. Hey, Kruger, did you hear that Joe Milton got traded to the Dallas Cowboys?
One of them had to go.
Did you hear? Where's he? Where's Kruger at? I feel like Kruger's missing now. Kruger, what in the hell's going on? I might have lost him. Kruger, did you hear that Joe Milton was traded to the Dallas Cowboys? What do you think about Big Joe Milton, bro?
Joe Milton to the Cowboys, that's a big move, Smitty. He's got a cannon for an arm, but consistency will be key. If he can improve his accuracy and decision-making, he could be a solid backup for Dak. What do you think his role will be in Dallas?
Monster.
Absolutely. He brings that size and athleticism. He could be a real threat in short yardage situations or trick plays. Maybe even some packages where he uses his legs. How do you think he'll fit in their offense?
I think he'll do backflips on the regular, Krug. This guy can do a backflip. He's 6'5", 246 pounds, and can do backflips like you cook up one-liners, bro.
That's impressive. Milton's athleticism definitely adds another layer to his potential. If he can harness that raw talent, we might see some exciting plays from him. Flips and bombs, right?
Backflips and bombs. I love it. Krug thinking of good ones. Hey, Krug, I got a bold prediction for you. I think that Joe Milton, at some point, I don't want to say takes Dak's job through performance, but at some point, it becomes a good problem to have. And I'll just say it that way. There's going to be a good problem to have on the hands of the Dallas Cowboys if Joe Milton ever gets his paws on that gets his kung fu grip on that lineup job, bro.
That's a spicy take, Smitty. If Milton steps up and pushes Dak, that would definitely shake things up in Dallas. Competition can bring out the best in both of them, and if Milton gets his shot, it could be fun to watch. We'll see if your bold prediction pans out.
Tell the people bye. We're ending the live stream. We'll be back tonight at midnight Eastern. Tell everybody deuces, the drop a deuce, do whatever they got to do in your style of goodbyes. Go ahead.
All right, folks, we're wrapping up the live stream. We'll be back tonight at midnight Eastern. Deuces, stay loose, stay flowing, and don't forget to drop a deuce on that like button. We'll see you all later.
Drop a deuce on that like button. Drop a deuce on the like button. Do it live. Do it live.
Get lamb.